If you're a licensed shooter in Western Australia or Queensland, you've probably noticed that things are getting absolutely crazy right now and how difficult PTAs are becoming. Those permit to acquires are just getting very, very difficult. So Western Australia new Firearm Act of 2024 is introducing some major restrictions. Queensland shooters are being denied PTAs for no legal reason. And every year, more and more red tape and more restrictions and more roadblocks. So why? If you have a license, why are you being forced to justify every single firearm? And why does weapons licensing get to deny PTAs based on potential, I'm saying potential, future laws that don't even exist? So why is Australia slowly restricting firearms through bureaucracy rather than legislation? Well, today I'm going to be talking about this slow ban strategy happening right now. So let's jump into it. So Western Australia has just wrapped up one of the biggest firearm buybacks in history. Over 52,000 firearms have been surrendered. The new Firearms Act of 2024 takes effect on March 31st, 2025, only a couple of weeks away from this recording. Well, the goal, are fewer licensed firearms in the state. So what's changing? So stricter licensing laws, more background checks and mental health assessments, and of course, more justification. Gun ownership caps. Western Australia is setting a limit on how many firearms you can own. So more restrictions on the genuine need. Even if you are licensed, you'll have to fight for every single PTA. Former Western Australia Commissioner Carl O'Callaghan is warning that it could really harm farmers, regional shooters, and those guys that are doing pest control. So I've got a question. Will these laws make Western Australia safer, or are they just more hurdles for law-abiding firearm owners? Leave a comment below. So Queensland shooters are being faced with a new issue. Weapons licensing is denying PTAs for large caliber firearms. But here is the catch. There is no law banning high caliber firearms in Queensland. Weapons licensing is refusing permits anyway, calling it potential future bans. An example, a shooter applied for a 300 Win Mag and was restricted to range use only, and of course banned from hunting or pest control, and there's no legal justification provided. So why does this matter? Large calibers are necessary for those humane kills when you're out doing pest control, and the Animal Care and Protection Act of 2001 requires humane destruction methods. Without large caliber rifles, pest control will suffer and animal suffering will increase. So if the government isn't banning large caliber rifles, why is weapons licensing doing it for them? So here's a quick fact check that I just want to share with everybody. There is no Queensland law banning high caliber firearms. There is no legislation change, only internal policy changes. And weapon licensing is enforcing rules that don't actually exist in law. And it's not about the big game rifles. It's happening with standard PTAs as well. So, for example, a shooter applied for a Category B, yes, a Category B 223 for recreational shooting. His only other rifle is a 308. Weapons licensing demanded that he justify why he needed a second rifle. This has never happened, and even for myself, all my PTAs I've done, I've never had to justify the reason for a second rifle. It started with the questioning of the same caliber firearms. Then it was the second firearms of the same caliber. Now it's even a different caliber requires additional justification. If a firearm license isn't enough, oh my God, if it isn't enough of proof of genuine need, what is the point of having a licensing system at all? It is extremely difficult to get a license, and it takes, some of the guys 6 to 9 months just to go through the rigmarole of getting a license. And, it's such an extensive check that weapons licensing do, and that should demonstrate the need for having firearms. We are really in a nationwide crime crisis. Violent home invasions are skyrocketing, gang-related shootings are increasing, and illegal firearms are being used in organised crime. But what's the government's response? Make legal gun ownership hard. Pile on more restrictions on the people who actually follow the law and ignore thousands of illegal firearms circulating in criminal networks. Western Australia, the government has removed 52,000 guns from law-abiding owners, yet violent crime continues to rise. Queensland firearm permits are being denied to hunters and pest controllers, while gang-related shootings in Brisbane and the Gold Coast are increasing. Criminals do not follow licensing laws. Criminals do not apply for PTAs, and criminals will continue to access the black market weapons. So why is the government targeting the most vetted, background-checked citizen instead of tackling real crime? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think restricting licensed shooters is helping fight crime, or is it just a distraction from the real issue? A couple of quick tips. So when you're applying for your PTA, clearly state your genuine reason and attach your supporting documents. If your PTA is denied, file a review within 21 days and potentially escalate it to QCAT and seek advocacy support. So take action as well. Make sure you write to your MP and police minister. Demand answers on unfair restrictions. Join a shooting rights organisation, groups like Shooters Union Australia that fight for your rights. And of course, spread awareness. Share this video, comment, and get involved. If we stand by and let these restrictions become permanent, that's right, they are testing. They are continuing to push the boundaries and trying to enforce these restrictions to become permanent. Take action right now. And of course, don't forget to drop a comment, hit like and subscribe for updates on firearm laws, shooting gear, and precision shooting tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and of course, we'll see you on the next one.